Just because you're in your 40s, it doesn't mean that you're meant to have everything all figured out. In fact, newsflash, most of us don't. And the funny thing is, yes, there are societal expectations of what we're supposed to have done. By the time we reach 40, everything should be magically aligned. That's not reality. And the fact of the matter is that life throws curveballs at us. It throws challenges at us because it's meant to. If you're somebody who's in a season at the moment thinking that you need to restart, you want to reset, then this is for you. Reinvention is the act or process of changing so much that you appear to be completely new. The operative word there for me is appears to be completely new. That means that you're actually not new. You're just refreshing. My favorite Adinkra symbol is Sankofa. It basically teaches us the importance of going back to the past to reclaim what we had in order to move forward. Now, if you think about yourself as a butterfly, that will teach you exactly what's happening in your life. You're feeling stuck or you're feeling stagnant. The butterfly begins as an egg. It then turns into a caterpillar. And from there, it goes into the process of chrysalis, or when it's in its cocoon, if you like. And most of the time, that process of chrysalis in that cocoon takes about 2 to 5 weeks. But depending on the species, depending on the environment, it can take up to a year. Now, you may be in that cocoon phase, and depending on your mindset, your environment, it could take a month, it could take 2 months, it could take a year. So as I was thinking about that, I saw the butterfly as a beautiful metaphor for our true self. Even though it stayed in the cocoon and you didn't know what was happening, and it looks very still, very quiet, nothing's going on, that's the period where all the magic is happening. It literally decomposes and breaks itself down and then reforms inside quietly for a season, 2 seasons, however long it takes. And then it blossoms, it comes out, it literally grows and then spreads its wings, and you just see it. And we appreciate that part. It started off as a caterpillar, but it was always destined to be a beautiful butterfly. That, my friend, is you. So with that, I just want to share a few tips with you. I'm not claiming to have all the answers, but these are just some of the things that have helped me on my journey. So the first thing I've already alluded to is the importance of your mindset. Not in this kind of fluffy, fake positive, love is light and light and love and all that. No, I mean, that's all good and well, but it's not realistic. It's not most people's reality. Life is full of ups and downs. In fact, I always give the analogy of the life support machine. If you're unfortunate enough to have experienced that, life is like this, just like on the life support machine, up and down. As soon as that machine stops producing that up and down wave and it flatlines, we know exactly what that means. So the ups and downs are representative of life in general. So as long as it's like this, I am grateful. Also, reframe the way that you look at aging. If you're one of those people that think, oh, 40, oh, woe is me, I should have done this, should have done that, oh, God, you have to. It's subjective. Age in itself is subjective. People are always astounded when I show video clips of, whether it's me and my dad working out, or, photos of me and my mum. Not just that they both look really young, they're youthful in spirit. And when I ask my mum, she always says it's because of, inside, it's a spiritual thing. But the most important thing in terms of mindset is self-awareness. If you don't know what's going on with you, then you are going to make terrible decisions. You're going to do things habitually that are just going to create the life that you don't want. They say that what gets measured gets managed, right? So it's the same with self-auditing. So I'd say start from there. Consciously look at your thoughts. Pay attention to the natter. Especially important, I'd say, pay attention to where you shrink. Pay attention to where you stop yourself. Pay attention to where you procrastinate. There's something usually deeper going on. So make a note of it, even if it's a mental note or you want to physically write it down, which would be even better. Take stock of what's going on with you mentally, because that will give you the signals of where the work needs to be done. Essentially, the shadow work. So the second thing is the importance of reconnecting with your body. whether that's going for a walk, getting your 10,000 steps in, or how many steps you can do, whether it's dancing, whether it's just, that fun thing that we like to do horizontally most of the time. But, whatever it is, get moving daily. Also, the body is so intelligent. Our body holds so much information. It's constantly speaking to us. In fact, mine is speaking to me right now. It's telling me I got a dry throat, so I'm going to listen and take my own advice and drink some water. Okay, I'm back. The other thing that I would say that is really important in terms of reconnecting with your body is learn to listen to your body for the signals of when it's stressed and when it feels safe. Those things are so important for the nervous system and for regulating your nervous system, which again corresponds to physical ailments if it goes undetected. So please, please, please learn to master listening to your body. The body isn't just our vessel or our vehicle to get around and to move about in the world. It's literally our compass, and it's constantly showing us the way. So listen to your body, love on your body, and respect your body. So another important thing that I think is so integral to this journey of reinventing, remembering, more importantly, as I've said earlier, is the importance of reconnecting with your inner child. Now, if you're following me on Instagram, or if you're connected with me rather on Instagram, then you'll probably see me going to new classes, a lot of dancing, because those are the things I used to love when I was younger. And so me going down that journey of reconnecting and actually showcasing myself doing those things, one, it's out of my comfort zone, and two, more importantly, it's reconnecting me to my inner child and nurturing her and saying to her, I'm still here. We can still play. We can still have fun. We can still dance. We can still do all those good things that make you feel good. Because essentially what you want to do, especially if you're looking to attract better in your life, it's about how you feel. Particularly as women, we are naturally very magnetic, but sometimes we shut that off because we stop doing the things that we love, which means that we stop feeling good. And if we're not feeling good, then we're not radiating that energy in order to attract what it is that we want to attract. So that is so, so important. So ask yourself, what does she love to do, or what does he love to do when he was younger? Whether it's drawing, dancing. Also try new things. When we were younger, we wanted to try new things all the time. And so for me, you'll also see you'll see my Come Dance With Me series. You'll also see Try New Things With Me. And if you are somebody who wants to try new things, then I urge you to write a list of things that you've always wanted to do and put in a date. We'll do some research and go and do those things. And in fact, I'm always looking for people who want to come along with me. Yeah, feel free to reach out in the comments and let me know what you want to do. And if you're in London and if the energy's right, then we can connect. Now, this one's important. Honor your emotions, but learn how to manage your reactions. Now, this is something I've really had to learn, especially as an empath, especially as a sensitive person. You are allowed to feel everything, but it doesn't mean that everything has to feel you. And what I mean by that is there's a time and a place to express, especially if it's kind of more explosive and it's more of a reaction than a response. And just because you feel it, it doesn't mean that the other person has to feel it. So remember to, one, respect yourself, and also to respect what's being processed. And if it's so raw and it's something to do with somebody else, just hold it for a little while. I'm not saying to suppress it, because I think that a lot of us have suppressed things over the years. And those are the things, again, that can sometimes lead to conditions and ailments and disease. So don't do that. If anything, write it down, work it out in the gym, dance it out, which is something I love to do, or scream it out in a pillow. I've seen Sana Lathan, the actress, do that recently, or a few months back. She was screaming in her pillow. Whatever works for you, but remember to nurture your relationships and yourself, more importantly. I'm not saying to be all stoic, although stoicism has its place. I am saying to honor your emotions, but to regulate them so that you can respond in a healthier way. On that note, actually, this also comes under that. So protect your energy at all costs. When there's somebody that's done a great thing and, we're bigging them up, people are saying under the comments, protect this person at all costs. most of us don't even protect our own energy. We need to protect ourselves first. One of the ways that you can do that is situations where people, if you might be one of those people that, people often turn to share, to vent, to release, often, in various roles, whether it's a parent role, whether it's, sometimes obviously you might not be able to do this if you're a parent, but in terms of in romantic relationships, in terms of friendships, you are allowed to give yourself permission to take space, to hold space firstly for yourself. One of the things I believe that my close friends in particular have learned about me in recent years is to ask me first, for almost like asking for permission. I'm not that rigid. Hopefully I'm not that rigid. But one of the things that they know that's important to me is to ask first whether I have capacity. It's like asking, oh, can you speak? Kind of clarify first before you start going off and, with that full energy, because for somebody like me as an empath, I pick up and I can absorb all of that. So if I'm not given if I'm just in a chilled, relaxed state and I'm just, minding my business, reading a book or watching something, chilling, and then you come on the phone and it's just like, this person did this or da 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 da. No, I'm not here for that. I have emotional, energetic, non-negotiables. I'm very conscious about my space, my time, my environment, and my mornings especially. I don't have capacity for anybody else outside of myself for the first few hours of the day. Call it selfish, but it's important to have that for yourself first and foremost, where you can. Obviously, if you're a mum, especially for single mums, I know some of my girlfriends, in that position may not necessarily have that, but I'm sure as children get older that there's a way to create that space for yourself, whether it's just half an hour going for a walk. As one of my girlfriends says, she's got 3 children. One is older and left home now, but she's got 2 young children, and she started giving back to herself. And I've just seen the massive shift in her just from the simple act of going for walks. With all these things I've said, please release the pressure to arrive. Sometimes we can disassociate ourselves from our dreams, our goals, and where we are currently. And it's especially feel heavier when you're a certain age, like you're in your 40s or you've just turned 40, and you're feeling like, as I said at the beginning, I should have done this, I should have done that. Life is not linear. Life is rhythm. Life is cyclical, meaning that there'll be ebbs and flows, as I've mentioned. So this whole thing isn't about reinvention. This whole thing is about returning, reconnecting, and most importantly, remembering who you truly are at your core, remembering that little girl, remembering those dreams that you had in your early 20s. You were so inspired by yourself. You were your own influencer. You were your own goals. It's important to have mentors, yes, but essentially, I think it's so important to be your own guide. Don't restrict yourself or your dreams to the linear, rigid timeline of shoulds that are enforced by society. That is the biggest way to stifle yourself and to shortchange yourself of fulfilling what you're meant to fulfill in your time, in divine time, or in God's time.